Hello friends, Namaskar dosto. Very warm welcome to Sunday Analysis with SD and I'm SD, Multi-Asset Trading and Investment Specialist. आज ये वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करने में थोड़ा लेट हो गया as you know, cyclone Remal जो है that is coming towards Kolkata and my flight from Vietnam to Kolkata has been cancelled. So I was busy on the first half to find out the next flight due to rush. I could not find it very easily. So finally, at the end of the day, I'm choosing to do this video. I hope this video helps you और आप last तक इसको देखेंगे जरूर. Let's start. और कहाँ से हम लोग start करेंगे? You usually start with the economic calendar, जहाँ से weekend आपका चालू होना चाहिए. और हम लोग देखते हैं व्हाट इज द इम्पोर्टेंट डेटा दैट आर कमिंग अप इन द नेक्स्ट कमिंग वीक कुछ डेटा आ नहीं रहा है विच विल बी वेरी इम्पैक्टफुल फॉर द मार्केट बट सम इम्पोर्टेंट डेटास आर देयर like the most important focus for the euro will be on Wednesday when the German inflation and other European inflation data starts coming out. This will be very important deciding the future path of euro because if inflation rate is declining, expect किया जाएगा European Central Bank will cut interest rate before the Federal Reserve and that might push the euro USD lower. Largely because of euro will be going down against the US dollar. So similarly, after German inflation, market will be focusing on other inflation data like coming from Spain, Italy, and other European countries. On Thursday, we regularly have our jobless claims, but important will be the projected second estimate of first quarter growth. If GDP growth improves, that will be bullish for the US dollar because market is going to expect that Federal Reserve is going to keep interest rates higher. एंड ये बॉन्ड मार्केट के लिए फिर बियरिश हो सकता है इफ जीडीपी ग्रोथ इज हायर बट कुड बी पॉजिटिव एट द सेम टाइम फॉर द इक्विटी मार्केट. As Monday, it is US market is closed for Memorial Day holiday. So we will have crude oil and natural gas inventory data on the same day, that will be Thursday. And finally, where the market will focus on Friday is the data coming from China. China has been showing a path of recovery with this manufacturing PMI data. Market will try to focus whether how strong the China recovery is. So market would be expecting a higher manufacturing PMI data from China. So the European inflation data, some of the inflation data that are throughout the week. Friday, I have a live session with the students that at 6 o'clock, we have core PCE price index. Though it is not as important as the US inflation data, it is definitely will be important because PCE price index is one of the favorite measure of inflation for the US central bank, which is Federal Reserve. So not much ground shattering data next week, rather the week after that will be more important as we are going to have the US unemployment report. So that's where the volatility will be. Not expecting much volatility on this week based on data, but PCE price index, GDP, and European inflation will be key focus for the market. Next, what we look at is the performance. How has the performance been? Which asset class has been doing well? What I can see is some of the grain products are, or some of the soft commodities are doing better, like sugar, orange juice, grains like soybean, oats, they are doing better. Some of the equity markets, though we at the mid of the week saw some sell-off, but finally many of the US indices closed in the positive. Whereas the down performer were the natural gas. and volatility index VIX has fallen, which is actually positive for the overall equity market. Now what we are going to do is we are going to take a look at different charts. On a daily scale, we can see big sell-off was experienced by Dow. If we look at the indices first, डाउ में स्ट्रॉन्ग सेल ऑफ हुआ, इसका हमें पहले से अंदाज मिल गया था थ्रू द रेनबो सेटअप that Dow is on the weaker front, whereas S&P and Nasdaq was much stronger. So S&P, Nasdaq clearly did better. Russell on the last day of the trading shown a comeback, creating a harami pattern or a pregnant lady pattern. Dow Jones also created some sort of inverted hammer pattern, and with this, Dow can actually make a comeback in the next week. Nikkei, after sell-off, ended the week last day on the positive note. Europe, after facing similar sell-off, ended the week last day on the positive note. Similar picture can be seen from DAX. Whereas after the initial jump in VIX, we can see VIX again suffered last day, and broadly we did better. Now, looking at the performance, we looked at the daily performance. Now we look at the weekly performance. Weekly, cocoa continuing to show volatility. Grains, wheat did better. Cotton, orange juice, soybean meal, corn, sugar. So majority what I can see, the agricultural commodities are doing better. So agricultural commodities में हम लोग position डाल सकते हैं through an exchange traded fund DBA. DBA के जरिए we can invest into the agricultural segment. Whereas on the weekly basis, the down performer has been some of the metals like copper. Copper बहुत जल्दी बढ़ा था super speed में, और similarly sell off भी हुआ उतना ही speed में. Natural gas, platinum, gold, heating oil, lot of energy and metal commodities suffered a lot last week. And in the mid of the range where the equities were there. So outperformance दिख रहा है from the agricultural commodities, down performance दिख रहा है from the energy and the metal segment, whereas equities as an asset class is somewhere neutral and in the middle. Now let's move to the world map. World map, I can have a look at all the global equity markets at the same time. Last week, majority of the global equity markets were under play pressure, lot of red pockets, as you can see. Whereas India, Taiwan, few of the Netherlands, in Europe, few of the countries where we saw much bullish presence. जो लोग मेरा मास्टर क्लास किए हैं, आप लोग जानते हैं कैसे हम लोग सिक्लिकल सेल और सिक्लिकल बाई को पकड़ते हैं. एंड एज पर द सिक्लिकल सिग्नल हम लोग अभी भी इक्विटी बाई फेज में है. सो निफ्टी जो नया हाई बनाया है, देयर इज नो सरप्राइज टू इट. करंट में हमें फोकस करना पड़ेगा जो सेगमेंट स्ट्रेंथ दिखा रहा है अक्रॉस द ग्लोब. करंटली फॉर एग्जांपल निफ्टी इज शोइंग स्ट्रेंथ, तो वहीं पे हमारा पैसा पार्क करना पड़ेगा. इट इज अगर बाद में यूएस शोज द स्ट्रेंथ, दैट्स वेयर वी विल हैव टू पार्क आवर मनी. So equity market देखा जाए, so it's in a mixed picture. We have taken a look at the commodities. So if we look at the commodities on a last weekly basis, यहाँ पे clearly दिख रहा है cocoa is the one that outperformed, whereas metals are the one, and the energy segment of the market, that is what the down performed. If we look at the world stock index in terms of US dollar in 1 month return, top performer has been Taiwan Stock Exchange, Hong Kong, China. They have done exceptionally well. If we see 1 week performance, it's India, Taiwan, Israel, and Denmark. Vietnam, where I am right now, they also did a bit good. Whereas Argentina, which did very well in the last 1 month, whereas say Turkey, they are the one did not do that well. So Taiwan is a semiconductor based economy. So semiconductor stocks के लिए Taiwan का rise होना is a positive thing. Now, from there, let's go back to the central banks. Central banks में Federal Reserve सबसे important होता है और उसका interest rate cycle के ऊपर मैं नजर रख रहा हूँ because interest rate shock can be one of the factors that can bring downturn to global economy this time around. एंड फेडरल रिजर्व लास्ट जो जितना भी डेटा है उसके बाद मार्केट का वर्डिक्ट है कि ओनली देयर विल बी ओनली वन रेट कट फ्रॉम फेडरल रिजर्व this year, only 25 basis points rate cut, and that is also expected not before the November meeting. So previously थोड़ा weakness जो inflation में data में दिखा था उसके बाद market was slightly pricing a 2 rate cuts. But from that, again, market is back to pricing to one rate cut, and that is not very bullish scenario for the bonds in general. So bonds may we can get some bearish opportunities. So I might be looking to short the US Treasury bonds. If we look at the foreign exchange in the last 1 week, the top performer has been Russian ruble, Hungarian forint, pound, US dollar, where majority of the Asian currencies has down performance, led by Thai baht and South African rand. So this is the picture from the overall market. Now what we are going to do, we are going to take a look at the veins. ये जो economy होता है उनका जो blood veins अगर हम लोग पकड़ेंगे, then that is the maritime shipping channel. एंड मैरीटाइम शिपिंग चैनल से वार्निंग मिल रहा है. पहले लेट्स लुक एट द जियोपॉलिटिक्स. जो मेरा ये वीडियो रेगुलरली देखते हैं आप लोग जानते हैं कैसे मैं जियोपॉलिटिक्स को मॉनिटर कर रहा हूं. Currently, there are tensions happening in Russia, Ukraine, and also in the Middle Eastern channel like Red Sea, Suez Canal area. So that one is more important right now than the Russia-Ukraine war. And if we look at the Suez Canal, say kitne ship transit call and volumes happening, I don't see any kind of major recovery or a significant further worsening of the crisis in the Red Sea zone. It's clear that ships are avoiding the Red Sea channel, Suez Canal. Rather, वो लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? Let me take you to the Google map. And let me show you the Suez Canal. Okay, this is the Suez Canal, and this is the area where the trouble is happening in the Red Sea. So majority of ships are what they're doing. They're crossing the Horn of Africa and crossing the whole African continent and traveling these areas and reaching the Europe. The problem is that in the Somalian coast, there is heavy piracy. That's why अगर आप न्यूज फॉलो कर रहे होंगे आपको दिख रहा होगा हमारे इंडियन नेवी इज प्रोवाइडिंग सम सपोर्ट to the ships that are facing the piracy risk. This has some impact on the shipping cost. However, ये जो latest rise दिख रहा है in the cost of, sorry, let me log in. Probably I'm not logging. That's why it is not allowing me to see the chart. So here what I see is the global shipping cost from China is significantly going up. And currently I do not see a worsening of geopolitics or supply chain, which can explain this big rise in container freight rate from China. Rather, this could be related to China gobbling up global commodities as well as China recovery. This could be two factors where this could be the two factors that are contributing to these rise. I'll keep a constant check here. If the this rate continues to go up, this is going to add on to the inflation problem that the developed countries are currently suffering from. And this is bearish for the bonds. And if it's bearish for the bonds, that is definitely bad news going ahead for the equities. So bhale equities record high bana rahe, you should be careful for, because there could be zigzag volatility. Sudden news could be coming up regarding this maritime shipping cost, and that could add some downside pressure to the equities. अभी हम लोग जो करने वाले हैं, आई एम गोइंग टू गो टू माय ट्रेडिंग सेटअप, जो आप लोग जानते हैं फाउंटेन ऑफ गोल्ड, एंड उसके जरिए वी आर गोइंग टू टेक ए लुक एट द current happening or opportunities that are going on in the equity market. So if we look at the mother market, that is the S&P 500, I'm seeing a still in the correction phase. I don't see a price action bullish or short-term momentum bullish. So I'll prefer to wait it out in the S&P 500. We had a very good ride. We caught it at the recovering level, and we have exited S&P 500 almost at the top. जो मेरे रेगुलर एसेट एलोकेशन वीडियो देखते हैं, आप जानते हैं we avoided Dow, and that was a good decision. We avoided Russell, that was also a good decision. Whereas Nasdaq is the one that was strong. So Nasdaq, we can continue to keep some position in the Nasdaq's tech index, and Taiwan ka rise is actually beneficial for the tech index. Taiwan ka rise is synonymous ki tech index has further room for growth. Once this is done, we are taking a look at the Nifty 500. Nifty 500 is another global index which has been quite bullish. जहां पे बहुत जगह पे opportunities नहीं मिल रहे थे, Indian equities have been significantly outperforming. Vietnam में opportunity मिला था, but we need a strong breakout for further rise in Vietnam. Currently, with the background yellow, will not prefer to remain on the long side in Vietnam. South Korea is not good. I'm looking at the South Korean ETF, currently not doing so well. If we look at the New Zealand ka economy, New Zealand ka index, I'm seeing some comeback. So New Zealand is where somewhere we could see the initial position building. However, unless the index is crossing this key 11,820 to 11,890 level, it's very difficult that this is going to be an outright breakout. Australian dollar कुछ promise दिखाया था, but finally it did not work out. We exited Australia well before this regular continuous mega fall. If we look at Japan, though we are seeing an RSI comeback, RSI X comeback, I don't see a comeback in terms of candles, but this level is very important, 38,560. If it can sustain, we once again can see up move in Japan, and there I'll be interested in going into Japanese stocks. China gave an awesome ride, but also gave an exit at the right time, and now it's fully sell signal. If we look at Hong Kong, it gave a wonderful run. आप लोग देखें 1 month के हिसाब से awesome run. We exited at the top, and it's good that we are no longer invested in Hong Kong. So once again, अगर फिर से opportunity आएगा, we can go to Hong Kong. Now, if we look at Singapore, it's the similar story. After the initial break, it could not sustain with the red caps. I've exited, and now I'm in a more wait and watch mode in Singapore. What about Europe? Europe में ज़्यादा opportunities नहीं मिल रहे थे. Netherlands was one of the few वहाँ पे opportunities दिखा था, but that is also fading a bit. It's not that strong, only 60% chance of a buy trade win probability. Whereas Italy is not good. If we look at Spain, Spain is currently not good. Momentum is clearly fading in Spain. If we look at France, France has suffered a sell signal and is still there. So we are not interested in France. Germany में एक opportunity मिला था, but thankfully we exited around the top, and now we have a sell signal in Germany. If we look at the broad measure of European blue chip index, which is the Eurostoxx 50, we see a sell-off signal. So European blue chip is also not very good at the moment. So ये रहे equities के picture. Let's look at the currency. Currency में dollar index को हम लोग पहले देखेंगे. Dollar index is still not bullish enough. So dollar index में no opportunities. There is कोई मतलब नहीं बनता हम लोग dollar cash hold करें. Let's go to the bonds. If we look at the bonds में हम लोग long term bonds, 30-year bonds को देखेंगे, and it's a mixed market. So still no opportunities in the bond market. It's better to stay out. And that is very important. कभी-कभी trade ना करना भी एक trade होता है. So we will remain aware of the situation, and bonds may only trade that we can focus on right now is the interest rate trade, that is the short-term bonds. Short-term bonds, if we do not find any opportunities, we can park our money in the short-term bonds, which has low risk from price fluctuations. So here a broad equity and bond and a currency market. Commodity I am making anyway separate video, so I'll not do commodities here. So I hope this video helps you. I've kept it small. I hope आप पूरा देख पाए हो. And if this video is helping you, don't forget to like and subscribe. All the best to you from my side, and as always, happy trading.